Heads up. Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. I want to drop a follow-up heads-up video to the Hot Toys Avengers End Game. I did a little video when Thanos and Iron Man dropped. Many other figures since then, Nebula, Hawkeye, War Machine, Black Widow, and Captain America, are up for pre-order out on Sideshow. Check the link in the description below if you're interested in picking those figures up or checking out the pics of those prototypes. But I want to come back post-premiere the movie and take a look at what we think it means for these figures and the prototypes out there, because I think there's some interesting news we now know in terms of what accessories we could speculate to expect, but also maybe implications to the figures. So spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, you'll want to come back and watch this heads up video after that. So let's start off here with the Mark 85. I've now made sense of the 85. If you haven't yet, it's basically because the movie sort of jumps 5 years, and I think there's just anticipation that he would have made, 35 other suits in that gap. Therefore, he must have been on kind of the Mark 85. So they don't have a bunch of other suits in the movie, but that's why it's the Mark 85. So I think I buy that. I think it makes some sense. But this figure out here, which again was kind of like third quarter of 2020, $423. If we pop out here for what we got, again, we get the nice new head sculpt there, which looks good. Jump out here, and they had noted additional accessories coming soon. I can't speculate what would all be in there. This was certainly from the end Thanos fight scene where Thor powers him up. So we saw that, and it was a weapon as I had speculated previously, and as you would have probably expect from what it looks like. And I think clearly here we will get the right-handed Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet, if you will, right? When he gets the Infinity Stones from Thanos and puts them into the Mark 85 suit, I'm sure that will come with this figure. So that's a pretty cool accessory. But I will say, other than that, nothing else really jumped out to me to say, oh, it must have this and this as well, because this Mark 85, it just didn't really function like how the Mark 50 did in Infinity War, where it just did all these different types of nanotech things and gave us all these different weapons and stuff. It just wasn't used like that. He did have like a sort of hologram-ish looking shield, so maybe we could get something like that when Hulk went for the first finger snap to bring everyone back. He had this big shield up, which almost, again, it was like laser hologram-esque looking. Maybe you could get something like that. And of course, there could be other little guns and things like this as well. But again, I think the main thing is going to be the Iron Man Gauntlet Infinity gemmed up. So that would be a cool add to this piece. Assuming that comes, of course, I am speculating here. And I think, definitely I would say on some of these, maybe don't rush the pre-order, because seeing what some of these other accessories are may impact your decision, especially if you kind of want that type of thing. If the idea of buying the Mark 85 or not, depending on that gemstone and gauntlet right hand is there or not, you're going to want to see that. So the Thanos one I think is super interesting, because this Thanos figure went up to $415 from $376 for the one before. This look that we see here does not exist in the movie. In Hot Toys, though not perfect, but I'd generally say, they're kind of sticklers for movie accuracy. It's not perfect, I get it, but to get like a accessory that's not in a movie or something like that really doesn't happen. Different costume designs or different looks like that does happen, but to say you'll get a whole different accessory not in the movie, that I can't even think of a time when that necessarily happens. So here, having the Infinity Gauntlet, we never saw that in this, basically the time warp Thanos that became the main villain. So it could be interesting to see if they really come back and revise this. I think it's great fan service if they would provide it, but I just don't know. I think what would I expect to find is a normal left arm there. It may be an accessory for the right hand of the gauntlet that he does get, which again is that Iron Man created gauntlet. Because these things here, as they're representing it off of what they knew at the time, is just not true to the movie. So this is a big watch out for me on this figure, because it could change significantly. So big watch out there. And also with this figure, there'll be a lot of similarities to the last figure in terms of how it's built and stuff, and the head sculpts and all that. Maybe, I don't know, with all this armor and stuff, but I wonder, maybe will you be able to pop out the arm like you could with the last figure and swap it out, and maybe put an Infinity Gauntlet arm from the prior figure onto this figure. Somehow maybe this shoulder pad kind of can accommodate that in some way. If so, that would be a cool option too. If you bought both figures, you can kind of put that look together for yourself. Would provide a lot of incentive to buy both figures. I know us in the community often hate that because we'd like to do either or, but from a Hot Toys perspective, that would definitely help them push both figures. I think that's an interesting one. I want to see that develop. I think I'll pick the figure up either way because I have the first one, and presuming it's the same body, I'm hoping that swap out will be possible either way. But again, it's one to kind of watch and say, okay, what are they really going to give us here? Because that's not in the movie. And then probably the last one here that I'll quickly talk. Again, these are just kind of updates. If you're interested in other figures, jump out and check them out. I don't think there's too much controversy about what they will be or what's included with them. But Cap here was another one, and I always was making the bet that this would be the Cap to have. Sold high on my Civil War figure. Figured we'd get him back here for Endgame in a classic look, which we do. And, it looks like he's going to use a lot of the new technology that they've applied into the concept version, all that. So I think he'll be the Cap to have. Put my order in for this guy last night. Sideshow sent away a $20 off coupon mailer, so I used that on this guy. It's very Civil War-esque here. You get, the pocket watch. You get the helmet, which he can hold in hand, which is cool. But the head sculpt and all this stuff is really the same, just newly painted. But we had a couple of mystery accessories here, which I thought was just fantastic in the movie. Clearly, I think we'll get Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. Hope I say that right. But he wields that in the movie. It was got to be one of my favorite scenes from the movie, so I definitely think that will come. And then, if I had to speculate on what else, I would say the cut-up shield that he also had from the fight with Thanos in some way damaged, some way cut down. That would be my guess, because I honestly just can't think of anything else they would include there. But whatever it is, from my perspective, is gravy, because as long as they're putting Mjolnir in, which I think is going to be locked and loaded, it's just all the more the buy, which it already was for me anyway. So really looking forward to getting this Cap look back on the shelf. And with those extra accessories, going to love that. So that's it, guys. Just want to do a little speculative update for those three figures. Having seen the movie, I think there's some interesting implications to watch as these prototypes develop into the final figures, and some of this new news comes out from Hot Toys in terms of what these additional accessories will be and maybe how they'll tweak the figure given movie accuracy. And again, if you're interested in all these other figures, check the link in the description below. I think they all look pretty good so far, and they're definitely putting some breath into the line. But I'm sure the Endgame hype train will roll on, and more will be announced and released. So looking forward to all of those. Again, links in the description below. Let me know your comments below. If you're speculating something different, that's all we can do at this point in time until the news does officially come out. But definitely some things to watch on these three very popular characters and what will be very popular figures in terms of the final design. Thanks for checking in, guys. I'll see you next time.